we always start at 10 per usual. If this is your first time listening to one of our lists, we always start at 10. So number 10 here, let's go with Kirk Cousins. I know he had a bad week at Lambeau. Okay?
It was evident, yeah.
Okay, since like week 12, that's one of the best defenses in football. Now, I know if you look at the season-long stats, their defense is not really doesn't stack up numbers-wise. But in the last 5 or 6 weeks, that's a really, really good defense. At the end of the day, Kirk is 6th in touchdowns. He's 4th in yards. Now, I know he's 16th in pass rating, but look, if you touchdowns, you produce yards. Look, people can hate on Kirk, and I know he's not perfect, but I think he's a really, really solid NFL quarterback. Look, would you take him over a lot of quarterbacks right now? Absolutely.
Yes.
If you're the Giants, if you're the Jets, if you're Houston, Washington, a lot of NFL teams would hire him and pick him up tomorrow for their starting quarterback job. Look, I know he's not Mahomes, Herbert, Burrow, right? I get that. But he's a damn good NFL quarterback.
He is. So you try to think of a comparison, and we've used this comparison with for him before when we would talk about quarterbacks, even back before we started the podcast.
Right.
You look at cars or in the automotives industry. You have the flashy ones, the flashy,
right.
The Ferrari, the Lambo, the Corvette, the Mustang GT, whatever you can get package on it. That's your Mahomes. That's your Josh Allen. But Kirk Cousins is going to be your Ford F-150. Very reliable.
Dependable.
Most of the time, he'll get you there.
Yeah.
And then every now and then he needs you need to take him to the shop. You get the belts tightened up, right?
Yeah.
But he's just a very, very reliable guy and usually does the right thing. Sure, we've seen him take a couple steps back here and there, but you can usually count on him, and that's enough to land you at 10 on this list, at least in this current climate.
Look, and before this recent game, the previous 3 games, he was averaging almost 400 yards, 3 touchdowns a game, and like a half a pick in the previous 3 games. So he's fine.
And he's usually statistically one of the better quarterbacks in the league.
Absolutely. So. And I know the statistics don't tell the whole story. He's got talent around him, but at the end of the day, he gets the job done a lot. So.
Yeah.
All right, number 9 here. Let's go with the person who just beat him, Aaron Rodgers. And I think the only reason that Aaron is higher is because, first of all, he's peaking at the right time, which is really, really important. We see this in all sports, right? The Nationals had a losing record at the All-Star break. They win the World Series, right?
Yeah.
Like the Bengals last year. Started out kind of rocky. Peaked at the right time. Joe Burrow peaked at the right time. That's how you propel yourself into the playoffs and make some noise in the playoffs, right? I think Aaron is starting to peak at the right time with an improved run game, with an improved defense, the emergence of Christian Watson. Mm-hmm. So I really like him moving forward. He's 7th in touchdowns. He's 14th in yards, 15th in pass rating. But like I said, he's getting better as the season's moved on. He's one of the most pure talent throwers in the game right now.
Yes. Christian Watson is a big piece of that, right? Because
absolutely.
We saw him really struggle to find that new number 1 guy, a target that he's comfortable with to throwing to.
Yeah.
So he finally kind of is getting that gel, that chemistry.
Right.
And plus, like you said, the defense playing better. You heard it in the post-game interview when they were asking him about it.
It takes a
ton of pressure off of them, especially when they can get those defensive points, flip a game. Because let's not forget, they started losing that game. Then it was a huge pick 6, I think it was. Turned it right around, gave Aaron the ball back, and the rest was history there.
Right.
And he's good enough, certainly good enough to be number 9.
Yeah. All right, another legend here at number 8. Let's go with Tom Brady. Look, 2nd in yards. He's 9th in touchdowns. I know he's 17th in pass rating. It's because the completion percentage has dipped a little bit. The offense was out of whack for the first. Well, it still is. I'm not sure it's back yet.
Well, receivers had a lot of drops too then.
Yes, right. He's starting again, like Aaron, to get a lot better down the stretch, which I think is important. And they're finally starting to get healthy. The offensive line's getting a little healthier. Their weapons are getting a little bit healthier. And they hadn't had a lot of snaps this season. I know that he's been there for a couple years now, but this season, with all the injuries, he hasn't had a full arsenal to work with altogether. They're finally getting that cohesiveness. I know that, the secondary in Carolina was banged up. That's why he went off. That's great. But at the end of the day, he's 2nd in yards. He's 9th in touchdowns. He produces. That's enough to land him at 8, especially because he's a legend.
Absolutely.
All right, number 9 here, Dak Prescott.
7.
I'm sorry, number 7. I was looking at it because he's 9th in pass rating.
No.
So, by the way, there you go. He's 9th in pass rating. He's tied for 13th in touchdowns. He's 18th in yards, but he did miss 5 games. The only thing that worries me with him is picks. I think that's why he's not higher. But here's the thing with Dak that doesn't show up in the stats, and I think it shows up with the next quarterback on this list as well. The intangibles, right? Says the right thing at the podium. He's a good leader. I don't have to worry about Dak. Look, can he throw a couple picks? Yes. Is he going to throw really boneheaded like Dak, what are you doing type picks? Not really. Not really. It's because of his inaccuracy or maybe a tip ball here and there, but it's not like he's going to go lose you a lot of football games. Now, the Jacksonville games here and there, but the pick 6 to end it was dropped by his receiver. So the intangibles, I like Dak. He's big, he can move a little bit. Overall, he's pretty accurate, and he can make a lot of the easy throws, which I think is important. We can sit here and say, oh, but can he throw on the run sidearm? No, but can he stand in the pocket and deliver a nice 15-yard out route when you need it? Absolutely he can. I think that's important, and it's underlooked in the stats.
Yeah, another thing that's underlooked, like you said, are the intangibles. The ability to go and look and sound put together at the podium and be the face of a franchise. There are a lot of things that go into being an NFL quarterback, and playing quarterback, I would say, is like 50% of it. There's a ton of off-the-field stuff. There's a ton of leadership stuff. And Dak, it's never been a question mark with Dak in that category.
No.
It's the on-the-field flashiness. He's not as flashy. He won't give you those gigantic, crazy highlight reels that the NFL likes to show you on Instagram.
But he's a good, solid B+ quarterback.
Distribute the football where it needs to go.
He's a really, really solid B+ quarterback. I think he's Kirk Cousins, but moves a little bit better and is paid more.
That's a great comp. Yeah.
All right, number 6 here, Jalen Hurts. Look, he's number 3 in pass rating. He's tied for 13th in touchdowns. He's 13th in yards. But that's through the air. You look on the ground, he's number 1 in among quarterbacks in rushing touchdowns, and he's 3rd in yards behind only Justin Fields, who looks more like a running back this year than a quarterback. And I think Josh Allen is slightly ahead of him, Lamar is slightly ahead of him, which is kind of crazy considering the games Lamar's missed. But it goes to show that he does stand in there and throw. 3rd in pass rating. His completion percentage is good. And you got to credit a lot of this to offensive line, really, really nice wide receiver play. The emergence of A.J. Brown has been critical. And again, with him, I get the intangibles. Great leader. Fantastic leader. I'd build my organization around him tomorrow if the price tag wasn't super punitive because he moves and the injuries. I wouldn't pay him a fortune. But if you told me $35 million, I'd build my franchise around him tomorrow.
Yes.
I think he's got the leadership. He's clearly committed. I don't have to worry about off-the-field issues at all with Jalen Hurts. So I think that lands him at 6. I think it's a fair spot to put him because at the end of the day, you do have to play from the pocket to win at some point. People always want to say, well, what about Lamar and the MVP? And, well, Russell Wilson went to a Super Bowl and won one. Okay, but those guys are Russell is really, really good from the pocket, right? I know that Herbert can move. I know that Allen can move. I know that Mahomes can move. But they are their best with their arm. That's their number 1 weapon. I worry at points Jalen's number 1 weapon is his legs. He's developing, which is really, really promising. So I think 6 is fair.
And we've seen what happens to quarterbacks that solely rely on their legs.
Right.
And you've
he's
heard
pivoting away from that.
There are a lot of coaches now in the league saying, look, sure, if you have a running quarterback, great. We're going to knock him out of the game. We're going to knock him out of the game. It's so easy when you have a guy that relies on his legs and then has to drop back still 40 times, even though that's not his strength.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's not
Jalen Hurts
super sustainable.
No, it isn't. It's a very one-sided game.
I like the strides he's making in his passing game. It's certainly what you want to see from a young quarterback, so Jalen 6. Let's go Trevor Lawrence at 5. Look, since week 9, he's the best quarterback statistically.
He is playing fantastic.
Yeah, 15 touchdowns, 2 picks, 106 pass rating, number 1 in the NFL. He's 10th overall in pass rating, 9th in touchdowns, 9th in yards. That's what your franchise quarterback should look like.
Yeah.
Big, strong, moves, good leader. That's exactly what you want in a quarterback. He just needs to start doing it more consistently. That's how he would move up on the list. But 5 feels about right considering the people above him are freaks.
And it feels so good to finally see him do well.
100%. He's so easy to root for.
You were waiting for him and waiting for it to pop and waiting for it to click, and now it seems to finally have taken. Yeah. And he's gonna be a really special talent. I wouldn't be shocked to see him like near the top 1 to 3 of this list in the next I'd say season to 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think he could leapfrog this next guy, which I like, and it's number 4, Justin Herbert. I like Herbert, but he can tend to be a little bit overvalued. I think a lot of what has him at 4 is the fact that he has overcome cluster injuries at wide receiver, cluster injuries on the offensive line, and he's still 3rd in yards. He's 12th in touchdowns. He's 14th in pass rating. But again, the injuries have been awful on this football team, and he's carried them to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't even like his coach. His defense is severely underwhelming. Like I said, cluster injuries on the line at wide receiver. The talent is undeniable with Herbert, though. 6'6", big arm, moves, like 4.0 biology student in college. Like, totally has the brains to pick up an offense, adjust on the fly. And one thing that I think is really, really important, he's top 3 in fourth quarter pass rating. When it matters most, that dude is that dude, right?
Right.
Like that throw on the run down the sidelines to Mike Williams against, who was that, is that Tennessee? Yeah, it was Tennessee.
It was.
Absolutely ridiculous. That's a ridiculous throw. Like, nobody in the league, maybe Josh Allen, but I don't even think Josh is accurate enough to make that throw down the field like that. He's getting there. He's got the strong arm, but that was a pinpoint laser beam. I've never seen anything like it.
It was insane. Yeah, we showed that highlight in the episode where you were talking about it. It's
ridiculous.
He is
it's a once in a generation player.
One of the most talented guys in the league, for sure.
Number 3 here, Josh Allen. Look, he's like 20 yards away from being the leading rusher on
Yeah,
his
I was
team.
going to say, if you can't see it now. I mean,
Yeah, he's tied for third in rushing touchdowns for quarterbacks. He's 7th in like passing yards, 3rd in passing touchdowns. He's 8th in passer rating.
some may call him the Winter Soldier.
Hey, relax now, all right? No, some may. We may, huh?
Yeah.
Look, he just gets it done. Big arm, moves. And here, another thing, I like the intangibles. He's clearly a leader. Buffalo rallies around him. That's their guy. The team, the fans, everybody has faith in Josh Allen. Now, I do worry a little bit going forward, because whether this is fair or not, it reflects on him, how well the team can build around him. They still have not developed a really good offensive line yet. In 4 or 5 years, have not developed a good offensive line. Still have not developed a good running game. I still worry about their defense on the back end in spurts. So I don't worry about Josh Allen. I worry about, can they get him a running game so he's actually playing complementary football? We'll see. But the talent and the quarterback himself, he's third in the league easily,
Yes.
if not higher. But number 2 is Joe Burrow here, 6th in pass rating, 2nd in touchdowns, 5th in yards. Here's the thing. Best quarterback on third down. Best quarterback in the red zone. Best quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the fourth quarter in terms of touchdowns. The critical downs. Is there anybody better situationally than Joe Burrow and the Bengals?
I don't think so, because he is so methodical about the way that he scans and picks receivers and distributes the football. Very smart. Very Brady-esque.
I was just going to say, does it not remind you of Prime Brady? Where
It does.
It's so frustrating to play him because it's nothing flashy.
Yeah.
It's not, hey, I'm going to roll left, throw sidearm around 3 guys like Mahomes does. It's, no, I know exactly what you're trying to do, but I'm just going to do it better because I'm better than you.
Yeah, and
It's so frustrating.
I mean, the defense, it's so hard to find an answer, because sure, play the DBs back, take away the deep ball. That's fine.
reach underneath.
He'll throw 4 or 5 yard gains every single throw. He doesn't care.
And because he's got the talent where they're going to stretch it into 25 yards.
Mixon will pick up 5.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow will throw for 5 or 6, and they'll just slowly march their way down the field. Or you can play him in press, and then Jamar Chase is going to absolutely just boat race
Cook
your
you.
DB
Yep.
down the sideline,
Yeah.
and it's going to be like a 75-yard touchdown. So it's really, really hard to defend him, and I think
The leadership, again, we talk about leadership.
the
It's unbelievable.
intangibles again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just on another level than Dak. We say Dak was good.
Joe Burrow's
Joe
better.
Burrow is better, and Joe Burrow has, I feel like, more of a confidence, more of a swagger that people like, and
it's
that
the
chip
poise.
on the shoulder.
Yeah, that comes through in the big moments. That
Yeah.
poise, that's why he's good on third down. That's why he's good in the red zone. That's
Yeah.
why he's good on fourth down, right? Best in the pocket against pressure, right? That's why he's that guy. And then number 1, it's not even really a debate, especially if you look into the stats and you watch the games. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. He's 2nd in pass rating, 1st in touchdowns, 1st in yards.
If you say he's not the number 1 quarterback, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
I can't help you. I really can't. He's first in almost every category you want to, and he's 2nd in pass rating. Ooh, and 2 is above him, and that number's inflated because of completion percentage. Look, Mahomes is that guy. Completely rebuilt the offensive line. He makes it work. Hey, we're gonna ship off your best receiver, bring in a bunch of new guys. That's fine, I'll make it work. Unbelievable. Has never had a solid run game. That's okay.
He's never had a solid defense either.
Doesn't need it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And again, you talk about the leadership. I will say the league is in very good hands. You look at the top, literally the top 10. There's no problems whatsoever. Mahomes, graded a podium. Joe Burrow, graded a podium. Allen, Herbert, Lawrence, Hurts. They're all just, the intangibles are off the charts.
There's reasons you don't see the last name Mayfield on here, and others like that.
So now, granted, I wouldn't start my franchise with Tom, Aaron, or Kirk now because of their age and they're a little bit limited physically. But the top 7,
Easily.
look,
okay.
would I prefer Mahomes over Dak? Absolutely. But if you told me, hey, sorry, you're going to start your franchise with Dak, I'd be like, okay.
And, oh no!
Okay.
If I had to start my franchise
fine.
with an aging Tom Brady, I
That's fine.
guess I could swallow that one. I mean, come on.
Dak's a great.
Come on.
Dak's a really, really solid NFL quarterback. Same with all of them. So the league's in really good hands. Patrick at 1, Burrow at 2, Josh Allen at 3, while Herbert at 4, Trevor Lawrence at 5, Jalen Hurts at 6, Dak Prescott at 7, Tom at 8, A-Rod at 9, and at number 10, Kirk Cousins, rounding out the top 10 NFL quarterbacks heading into Week 18 in the NFL season.